Today I'm bringing you a chocolate chip cookie recipe I'm really excited about. I successfully made this chocolate chip cookie recipe last week, I think, and it was really good, super flavorful, but I thought that there was something I could do to make it better. They were kind of flat, and it didn't have a whole lot of volume to it. But they were chewy and sweet, and they tasted like chocolate chip cookies, so it was all good, except I wanted more of it. So today I'm going to be making that same chocolate chip cookie recipe, but I'm going to be changing one thing about it in 6 different recipes. Okay, so I'll tell you each of the 6 recipes that I'm going to make. So I'm going to have a base, which is going to consist of 1/2 cup of butter, 3/4 cup of a sugar replacement. I'm going to use this Lakanto erythritol blend. This is their baking sweetener. I use this in a different recipe in the peanut butter cookie recipe. I'll put that in the cards above, but I used it in that video, and it actually changed the texture of the cookies to be more cookie-like, so I was really excited by that. So I'm going to use this sweetener in each recipe because I think it does really help the texture. Then I'm going to split that batter with the butter, sugar, and vanilla, and 1 egg. So it's 1/2 cup of butter, 3/4 cup of the baking sweetener, the Lakanto baking sweetener, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 egg. I'm going to take that mixture and split it into 2 batches. Then each batch I'm going to add a different flour or oat fiber. So I'm going to take the original recipe, split it in half, and try one batch with 1/2 tablespoon of oat fiber to try and give it more volume. And then the other batch, I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of oat fiber to see the difference between 1/2 tablespoon and a full tablespoon, and see if that helps the texture and the volume of the cookies. So that'll be 2. 2 of the batches will be oat fiber. Then I'm going to do that same base mixture with the butter, sugar, vanilla, and egg, and then I'm going to split that into 2, and I'm going to try 2 different keto flours. Okay, so I have this keto flour. It's by Keto Carb, no, low carb with a K, and it's called Keto Flour. This one I just picked up in my last grocery haul. I'll put that grocery haul video in the cards above too. I bought it online. This one has 2 grams of net carbs per 1/3 of a cup. So pretty comparable to almond flour, but I want to see if this helps the texture. I want it to get that rise that a normal cookie does. And with my original recipe, because I used almond flour in the original recipe, I didn't get that rise. The flavor was perfect. It was on point there. It was chewy, but I want that rise that a regular cookie gets. So one recipe will have the keto flour. I'm going to use 3/4 a cup of the keto flour instead of 3/4 of a cup of almond flour. I don't know if the ratios, if the conversion is going to be the same for almond flour to this, but that's why I'm trying it this way. So this keto flour will be 1. Then I have this Noosh keto flour. This one is 1 net carb per 1/4 of a cup, so it's half as much as almond flour. So I'm going to put this in another batch. Then I'm going to try this miracle flour, which was also in my grocery haul video that I just posted. That was in the cards a moment ago. This miracle flour is 1 net carb per 1/4 of a cup. So this and this one is half as many carbs as almond flour. So these 2 are actually going to be better options. This one is the same amount of carbs as almond flour, but I'm thinking this might help with the texture. So those are the 3 alternative flours that I'm going to try. Then I'm going to make the recipe as it was originally with almond flour. and I'm going to try chilling it. I've seen in some recipes that people chill cookie dough, especially with like keto ingredients, because some of the keto desserts are too watery. So if you put it in the fridge, it seems to firm up the dough. I don't know how that affects it when it cooks, because I'm going to be using xanthan gum and, you know, butter and a lot of things that harden when it chills or cools down. So I don't know if that's going to make the recipe better or not, but I know when I made the recipe the first time, it was really hard to form little cookie dough balls to put it in the oven, because the cookie dough was so sticky. It like stuck to my fingers and it made it hard to like roll it. So I'm gonna try one recipe chilling it. So that'll be 6 recipes total. So I'll go over it just one more time real quick. So 2 recipes I'll have with oat fiber. I'll use 1 tablespoon of oat fiber in one recipe, and then half a tablespoon of oat fiber in a second recipe. Then my third recipe, I'll use noosh. It's this one. And then my fourth recipe, I'll use miracle flour. My fifth recipe, I'll use the keto flour. And then the sixth recipe, I'll do with almond flour without oat fiber, and I'll just try chilling it for maybe 20 minutes to see if that makes a difference. So I'm really excited to do all these cookie recipes, because I've been really trying to get a good chocolate chip cookie recipe, and I think I found it. I'm trying to fine tune it a little bit so I can make it perfect. And then I'll definitely I'll put in the description the final recipe that's definitely the best. So wish me luck, and let's get started. Okay, so I have one measuring cup that is 4 cups. I'm going to use this for my mixing bowl for the base of all the recipes, because it's just easier to measure out. So I'm going to put 3/4 a cup of this sugar. I'm going to put 1 stick of butter. That's 8 tablespoons. I'm going to put 1 egg and then 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to mix all that up, and then I'm going to split that in half and put half in this bowl, and then leave half in here, and then I'm going to add all my flours and all that stuff. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Okay, so I have my base made. This is where most of the flavor is going to be, because it has the sugar, the butter, vanilla, and the egg. So this is just about 1 cup. So I'm going to try and split it with just half a cup here and into this bowl, and then add my almond flour. Okay, so this one has the almond flour in it, half of the sugar mixture, and half of a tablespoon of oat fiber, as well as half a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon xanthan gum, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to mix this up, and we'll see how this one goes. Okay, this is actually pretty thick, with just half a teaspoon of oat fiber, or half a tablespoon of oat fiber. So I'm interested in seeing how the one with a whole tablespoon is gonna be. So again, this is only half of the batter, so a normal recipe will be twice this, and that's why it looks like such a small amount. I'm gonna add a 1/4 tablespoon of chocolate chips to this and pop it in the oven for about 13 minutes at 355. Okay, so I put the chocolate chips in, and I ended up putting probably only like 3 tablespoons of chocolate chips, because the batter just wasn't that many, but I was able to make 9 cookies anyways. And the dough was way easier to form with the oat fiber than without. So I'm gonna pop these in the oven. I'm really excited. They look like real cookies, so I'm excited to see how they turn out. Okay, so now this is the one with 1 tablespoon of oat fiber. So this has twice as much oat fiber. I'm gonna mix this up and see how this turns out. So this is what the consistency is of with 1 tablespoon of oat fiber instead of half a tablespoon. It's crazy how much more dough-like this is with oat fiber. But I'm gonna go ahead and add chocolate chips to this and go ahead and form the balls. I feel like I could do it with my hands with this one, but I'll go ahead and form the balls for the next batch. Okay, I have the second base here with the baking sugar, the erythritol blend, butter, and an egg, and I'm gonna mix this up. Okay, so I have the next batch split in half, and I'm about to add this Keto baking flour from Noosh. One thing I wanted to note is it's very wet, oily, because it has almond oil and MCT oil in it. So there's like some clumps in there, and I mean I usually sift almond flour, so I'm definitely going to do this too. It looks just like almond flour, but like more oily. So I'm going to go ahead and sift this before I dump it in, and then I'm going to mix it up. Okay, that was really hard to do. There's still quite a bit of clumps in there. At a certain point, I couldn't really sift it anymore. I'm going to go ahead and mix it up and see what happens. Okay, so this one is pretty mealy and sticky, just like almond flour, because I'm pretty sure it was almond flour. So I'm going to add chocolate chips to this and get this in the oven. Okay, my next base here, I have my baking powder, xanthan gum, and salt, and I'm going to go ahead and add my flour. This time I'm going to use Miracle flour. This one is Lupin. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it has 1 gram of carbs in 1/4 of a cup. So I'm going to use 3/4 of a cup of this one, put it in my base, and mix it up. Okay, so I poured the lupin out, and I just wanted to kind of show it is a little bit of a yellow color, but it doesn't have a smell to it, which I was kind of relieved about, because just by looking at it, because it's so yellow compared to almond flour, I thought maybe it was going to have a smell to it, especially because I previously have tried soy flour, and it had a terrible taste to it, so I was a little worried. It had a bad smell too, so I was worried this one might be a little risky, but it looks okay. So, and it smells okay too. So went ahead and added that. I'm gonna go ahead and mix it up, and then add chocolate chips. Okay, I just wanted to pop back on here because I just finished mixing this lupin one, the Miracle flour, and it is the most dough-like out of the flours I've tried so far, so I'm really excited. It does look like it has like seeds or something in it. I didn't want to sift it because it looked like it had chunks in there, and I didn't think the chunks would sift. But maybe sifting it would be a good idea in the future. So I'm going to add the chocolate chips and then pop this in the oven. Okay, I got my third base here, and I'm gonna mix it up and then split it in half for my last 2 flour mixtures. Okay, so I have half of my sugar mixture here. I put the xanthan gum, baking powder, and salt. Now I'm going to put 3/4 of a cup of this keto flour, which is 2 grams of carbs per 1/3 of a cup. So a little bit better than almond flour. We'll see how it goes. Okay, I just wanted to show you, this is what the almond or the keto flour looks like. It looks the most like regular flour, and it smells like regular flour. So I'm not going to sift it just to see what happens. So I'll mix it up and put it in the oven. Okay, so this keto flour is crazy flour-like. The only thing is that it has like these white chips in them. I don't know if you could see that, but it almost looks like coconut flakes, but I don't know why I would have coconut flakes in it. Anyways, I'm gonna add the chocolate chips to this and pop it in the oven. Okay, so we are finally done making all the cookies. I made 6 different batches, and they all kind of look different. And I'm excited to see what they all taste like compared to one another. So I'm going to go ahead and try the oat fiber ones first. So this one only had half a tablespoon of oat fiber. It's not as sweet as I'd expect it to be, but a lot bigger. I'm going to try the half tablespoon. These cooked really well though. They stayed a lot fluffier than the original recipe. So both of these are not as sweet as the original recipe. So I think next time I'll do oat fiber for sure, because I think they turned out beautifully. I'll do oat fiber for sure, but then I'll add probably like another half a cup of erythritol, just so it can stay sweet. Because it's really not sweet. Okay, I'm not gonna keep trying that. Okay, so let me get some milk to wash out my mouth. Unsweetened vanilla almond milk, of course. Okay, so those were the oat fiber ones. It added that volume that I wanted, but I didn't think that it would take away so much of the sweetness. So moving on. Next up, I'll try the one with the Noosh Keto baking flour. So this is what it looks like. Very flat. So this has no oat fiber. This is what the original recipe really looked like. It's just very flat. So it's kind of crumbly too. Oh, it's really buttery. It's really buttery. Also not as sweet. So I think with these flours, I might have to add more sugar than with the almond flour. Try again. I would say that one's better than the oat fiber one because it's a little sweeter. But it's so flat. I'd honestly prefer the regular almond flour recipe if I was going to do this, because it has no volume. Alright. Next up, the miracle flour. This one, like, I mean, it's pretty. This is the yellow one. This one, it didn't change shape as it was cooking at all. This is basically what I put it in as when I put it in to bake, and it didn't change at all. So it's very big. Oh god. It is soft, but the outside is hard. It's not sweet. It's kind of seedy, and it's not soft. It's kind of hard. So I probably wouldn't use that one again. The Lupin miracle flour. I don't know, it just kind of cooked weird. And it was kind of seedy. I don't like the texture of it. Okay. One more alternative flour. This keto flour. This one looks beautiful too. Baked really nice. Baked really nice. Pretty soft. Ooh, very soft. Okay, so I'll try this keto flour one. That one tastes the most like flour. It really tastes like flour. But it's not sweet. I mean, flour's not sweet. But you can taste the unsweetness So you definitely have to add more sweetener. I don't know that I like this texture. Kind of made it bready. And I was wanting more volume, but I don't want it to be like bread. Yeah. I could see this one being really good for bread. For chocolate chip cookie, I don't think so. Okay, I'm gonna try the original recipe. This is really not fair because these ones are still warm. But they're very small. They flatten out. That's why I was trying to add the oat fiber. See, because this looks more like a cookie. It's very good though. Has a little bit of a chew to it. It's very soft. Tastes like a chocolate chip cookie. It's good. So I think what I would say, stick with the almond flour, but just add a little more sugar and oat fiber, just like 2 tablespoons, and it would make it a nice fluffy texture, but then you add that sweetness so it'll still taste like a cookie. That's what I would say from all of this. So I'm going to try another recipe another time because I'm exhausted. But I'll try another recipe another time with this oat fiber recipe and just add more erythritol, because I think that would make it taste a lot better. Because these other keto flours, they made the texture weird. So anyways, I hope this was helpful. I'm so tired from making so many batches of cookies. I feel like I never want to see a chocolate chip cookie again. But anyways, I hope this was helpful. I got to try some cool keto flours. I'm glad I tried it because now I don't have to wonder. But let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. Let me know if you've tried any flour substitutes and if you've had any success. I was just watching some videos today, and people were commenting saying that lupin, that miracle flour, was one that works really well. But I didn't really like it. It was very seed-like. It had a weird texture to it. But let me know in the comment section if you've had any success with a flour alternative. I'd be interested in finding out. I've tried coconut flour too. I don't really like that. Someone told me about sunflower seed flour. So I'm thinking about getting that. So let me know definitely if you have tried that and if you like it. But that's all I have for you today. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.